In the winter of their lives, the elderly should be sheltered and protected. But some aren't safe. What drives a woman to take advantage of a frail old man?
100% defenseless.
How does a single mom turn into a monster?
The pure, unadulterated greed of this matter.
And what scheming secrets lie in this caregiver's heart?
She was cold as ice.
These deadly women are wolves among sheep, waiting to prey on the vulnerable. In Albany, New York, 35-year-old Sarah Moore is late for work yet again.
She was a hairstylist. They worked at a local chain.
Hello?
But instead of cutting hair, she's cutting shifts.
I'm sorry, I got sick last night. I'll be there shortly.
Her boss has had enough. She's fired.
No, wait, I can...
Sarah just can't hold down a job.
She's one of these people you might call a drifter. She had done some odd jobs.
But today might just be her lucky day.
Our last cup of joe together.
Across town, 79-year-old Richard Englander is saying goodbye to his live-in
But
caregiver.
I'm going to miss you.
She was a close friend and also someone that had worked with him and assisted him for a long, long period of time, who was beginning to suffer her own physical ailments.
Hi, Dad.
Hiya, Mimi.
Multiple sclerosis is crippling Richard's body, a condition caused by his time in the Army during World War II.
He was exposed to plutonium as part of his military service back in Germany.
The war veteran wants to stay in his own home as long as he can, and his daughter agrees. But he needs a replacement caregiver.
He was unable to stand without assistance or move around his residence without the assistance of another individual.
Here it is.
Richard places an ad in the local paper.
Yeah. She'll be hard to match.
Hope you find someone as kind as her to answer the ad.
Richard and his daughter recognized that they were in kind of dire straits with respect to needing someone immediately.
When Sarah Moore read that classified ad, an elderly, infirm man living alone, looking for help, she saw opportunity.
Hi, I'm calling about the ad in the paper.
Sarah was in a circumstance where she needed a place to live.
Here's
But
my
Sarah
resume.
has to convince her new employers that she can take on the responsibility.
Have you ever been a carer before?
No, but I'm always up for a challenge. And I really need somewhere to live.
And it's getting cold out there.
She has no qualifications other than her charm.
My party days are over.
Sarah could sell herself to get what she wanted. To say, I'm going to be the person who could take care of your father, and I'll be good enough.
Do you mind stepping out in the hall just for a minute?
Sure.
Richard's daughter isn't convinced.
I'm not sure about her.
I think she's fine. And she needs a job.
There were some reservations that were expressed by particularly his daughter.
You sure?
Let's give her a shot.
But Richard's charitable heart wins out.
Okay, let's do it.
Richard felt okay with her, and he wanted to give it a try and give her this opportunity to come and live with him.
He's always willing to give.
He was a philanthropist, regularly giving back to the community financially and in terms of his own time.
So here are the emergency numbers in case you need to give anybody a call.
Sure.
Please take good care of my dad.
I will.
For Sarah, things are looking up.
The job of taking care of Richard Englander was very attractive to someone like Sarah Moore. Free room and board, basically. You know, you have your own house.
On February 1st, 2014, Sarah moves in, but it won't be a free ride.
Sarah's duties were to cook and clean, take Richard to doctor's appointments, to do his shopping, and pick up his medication.
Oh, look at here. You found everything.
Sure.
He needed 24-hour, around-the-clock care.
But Sarah's more interested in Richard's finances than his welfare.
So, sorry to ask, but could I borrow $50?
Alarm bells should have gone right off. Something is not right here. Why is this person who's taking care of me asking for money? That wasn't part of the deal.
I don't keep any cash around. The kids don't think it's too wise.
When a caregiver asks to borrow money, that's bad enough, but to do it on the second day of employment is a rather profoundly accurate predictor of future bad news.
Look, take my credit card. Use it for any food we need.
All right. This one right here?
But Richard's still a trusting soul.
Yeah, that's the one.
Richard had given her credit cards to use for household purchases or medication.
Well, I might go shopping now, if that's all right.
Okay.
Okay.
Sarah saw that as a green light for her own needs. Sarah only cared for herself.
Fighting broke out overnight between rival factions along the Israeli-Syrian border.
Just 3 days after moving in, Sarah leaves her patient alone for hours.
Hey, Richard.
I thought you'd run out on me.
I ran into a friend.
She wasn't really acting as a caretaker, that she was kind of ignoring him, not doing what she was supposed to be doing.
Don't suppose you thought about dinner.
Oh my God, I forgot.
Richard is extremely vulnerable, and that he's someone she views as an easy mark.
I'm gonna go take a shower. I'll be right back, and then I'll figure something out for dinner. All right?
Things just get worse.
Sarah, are you out there?
After 4 days, Sarah seems to have completely given up.
Sarah!
There was an entire day that Sarah did not get out of bed and did not care for him at all.
Sarah Moore was no Florence Nightingale. She was the caregiver from hell.
Richard realizes he has made a grave mistake. Sarah has to go.
Yeah, she's really not working out. No, I'm all right. But we have to start looking for someone else.
Sarah is about to lose her meal ticket.
Sarah knew what she wanted, and Richard is not going to stay in her way.
Albany, New York, February 6th, 2014. It's Sarah Moore's 5th day as live-in caregiver to Richard Englander. But instead of helping the 89-year-old MS sufferer, she's helping herself.
Within 5 days of her hire, she's now stealing Richard's checks.
Sarah has a dark secret. She has a drug problem and needs a fix. She's addicted to crack cocaine.
She seemed to be in the throes of her addiction.
All Richard knows is he's being robbed.
Richard contacted his local bank branch
I want to report a stolen check.
and put a stop payment on the missing check.
He makes another call
Yeah, I know who took it.
to the police.
Thanks.
Richard Englander called the Albany Police Department, the detective office.
Detective Jerry Reichert takes the call.
When I spoke to him on the phone, he was very coherent, he was very cognizant.
Sarah is now walking straight into trouble.
Could you please cash this?
The bank branch that she went to is the same branch that Richard had called in reaching out to stop payment on his check.
Are you authorized to cash Mr. Englander's checks?
Yeah, he asked me to.
They took her identifying information, her license.
I'm sorry, you're not authorized.
Are you serious?
Yes, ma'am.
They refused to cash it.
Give me the check.
I think we need to call Mr. Englander.
The moment Sarah realized she'd been caught, Richard was in danger.
No, she works for me.
He's still on the phone when Sarah arrives home.
Who are you talking to?
Hey, this is the bank. You've been robbing me.
You don't know anything!
Yeah, well, you'd better do something about it.
Shut up!
Sarah goes into the garage and takes a tire iron.
Don't give her a
Crippled by MS, Richard is totally defenseless.
Mr. Englander, are you there?
The teller could hear her struggle.
Mr. Englander,
What the bank employee is hearing on the other side of the phone is the beginning of a murder.
are you there?
Sarah takes the tire iron, viciously bashing him in the head.
Mr. Englander.
There's not many things more destructive to the human skull than a tire iron. Richard would have lost consciousness probably after the second or third blow to the skull.
Frenzied would be an understatement to me. The level of the attack was very serious. It was very heinous in nature.
Sarah hit Richard so many times, the medical examiner was unable to determine how many times he had been hit.
Sarah isn't finished. She stabs him in the neck.
She slaughtered this man who was, and I can't emphasize this enough, 100% defenseless against her attack.
Sarah's determined to get her fix. With Richard out of the way, she tries again.
I need to cash this.
She tried to cash another check at the very same
Sorry, I
bank.
can't let you cash this.
I need it.
As I sit here today and ponder it, I don't know. I was shocked and stunned.
The bank teller immediately began the process of trying to keep that and reach out to the authorities and make them aware that she was back at the branch.
Sarah still doesn't give up. Unable to get Richard's cash, she uses his credit card.
She went to a local shopping mall and utilized a credit card belonging to Richard, bought an Xbox gaming system. Sarah's behavior was not in line with myself or any other normal person that I'd met in my life.
But Richard's credit card is on a watch list. And within hours, police track Sarah down. Paramedics can't save Richard. He dies of his injuries in the hospital.
The fact that Sarah went back to the same bank shows how incredibly desperate she was to get money to get high. Drugs are a terrible thing.
Sarah Moore never goes to trial. She pleads guilty to second-degree murder and is sentenced to 25 years to life.
The judge said, I want this on record that Sarah took the knife and cut through Richard's esophagus. He wanted that courtroom to know just how vicious this murder was.
all Richard Englander did was help people and serve his country. He had no idea what darkness he had let into his home.
People can cast a shadow, and obviously they didn't see what was lurking beneath Sarah Moore.
Larger home.
There's a fine line between ambition and greed.
She was prepared to do anything.
A woman that leaves a string of devastation in her wake.
Sociopath, manipulator, cruel.
And won't take no for an answer.
That is determination.
November 2008, in a quaint suburb of Adelaide, South Australia. 32-year-old Latvian immigrant Angelika Gavare is carving out a new life for her 2 young daughters.
She had 2 children to 2 separate fathers. By all accounts, she was a good mother. She ensured that her children went to school.
Now you get to have a chocolate cake if you eat.
Well clothed, well cleaned, well fed.
So, chocolate cake, here we come.
She was determined that she and her family would walk the centre line
Can we go to the movies?
and be good members of their new community.
We can't afford it.
Angelika didn't have much as a child. She wanted a lot for herself and her children.
The single mom has a long wish list.
Overseas holiday.
Vacations abroad,
Better schools.
expensive toys in her home,
But it also consisted of very materialistic things, perfumes, TVs, furniture. They appeared to be very important to her.
There's just one problem. Angelika is a shop assistant on minimum wage.
Hello, Margaret, how are you? Good, thanks. Close to the usual place.
She was reasonably unskilled. She worked as a clerk behind the counter.
the things she wanted in life wasn't going to happen.
She soon finds a way to boost her income.
She was using that as an opportunity to steal from the till and defraud customers that were coming in.
Have a good day. Have a good day.
She'd shortchange them on stamps. She would shortchange them on lottery tickets. Pocket the money.
She targets the most vulnerable for the biggest gain.
PIN number, never remember. Let me know.
She'd hit upon a theme at last, what seemed to be a quick way to get rich and to achieve that wish list.
Thank you.
She stole a customer's credit card and his PIN number.
Oh no, it's my turn to get you.
But stealing petty cash is never going to buy her a new lifestyle. She needs a bigger pot of gold. A visit to her mother's gives her an idea.
You run so fast.
82-year-old neighbor, Vinay McGlynn, looks vulnerable.
She broke her arm quite badly and needed to have her arm in a sling.
Angelika thinks she's found her pot of gold.
Can I help you?
Hello. I know you've broken your arm and I thought I could help.
I don't need any help.
Angelika was very bold in the way she approached Vinay.
I can move in.
That's ridiculous.
She bangs on her door and insists that she's there to take care of her,
I don't need any help.
even though Vinay didn't want it or really even need it.
Angelika went around the house multiple times, banging on doors and windows, saying, "You need a carer.
I just want to help you.
I don't need your help.
I can be your carer. Let me in, let me look after you."
Let me in.
Go away.
Vinay had no idea who this woman was.
Angelika's helping hand is rejected.
Go away. I'm going to call the police.
She was fiercely independent, and I learnt early in my relationship with her to respect that privacy.
But Angelika won't stop. until she gets
Let me in.
what she wants.
Angelica was prepared to prey on the vulnerable. We just didn't know how much she was prepared to prey.
In Adelaide, South Australia. For days, Angelica Gavare has tried to gain the confidence of 82-year-old Vonne McGlynn. But she fails. So on December 3rd, 2008, she breaks into her house.
Searching through the house for any valuables or anything that she might be able to take with her immediately.
She has a bizarre plan to take control of the elderly woman's money.
Angelica had a belief that she was entitled to this elderly woman's belongings and house, and that why couldn't she have what she wanted?
Vonne arrived home and let herself inside. She attacked Vonne, hitting her with a soapstone statue.
Angelica will dispose of the body later. First, she wants some material gain. She steals Vonne's bank cards and some things for her house, a table, and a toaster oven.
A toaster is hardly a trophy, which we know some killers keep after a murder. I think she just wanted toast.
That night, in a scene straight out of Dexter, Angelica turns her garage into a mortuary.
She dismembered my friend. She cut off her head, her hands. This monster had done the inconceivable.
She cut Vonne's remains into manageable sections, wrapped them in plastic bags.
That was completely unnecessary. I think she did it because she liked it.
Her victim now in pieces, Angelica comes up with a twisted means of disposal.
It's the way that she disposed of them that stays with me forever. Underneath her daughter, who was sitting in a stroller, was one of Vonne's body parts. She would take the body piece from the stroller, dump it into the water.
She's like somebody that I've never encountered before in her coldness and her calculation.
Over the coming weeks on her family outings, Angelica disposes of Vonne, one piece at a time.
She didn't even care about a severed body part being in the stroller where she would place her babies. Who does that?
Thinking she's gotten away with murder, Angelica tries to cash in.
Hi. Hello. I'd like to just take all the money out of this account, please.
Okay, great. Do you have some ID on you? Okay.
The plot thickened when Angelica attempted to withdraw $2,000 from Vonne's account.
Oh, I must have left it at home.
Being a local branch and having people that regularly dealt with Vonne, they thought this was untoward.
What was your name?
It's okay.
And they themselves subsequently contacted the missing persons section of the police.
Yeah, look, I just wish to report an ID theft.
Angelica's greed trumped any common sense she might have had to lay low.
It's enough to make suspicious police conduct an interview.
One of the more bizarre things I've seen in my life is the video record of interview between police and Angelica Guevara.
And how long have you known Von for?
Oh, I'm actually her carer. Yeah. I help take care of them.
She's smiling. She's happy. She's relaxed.
Do you know where Von is?
No.
Angelica told the police so many different lies, she couldn't keep things straight. But that's the thing about lying. You forget what you said.
Oh, maybe she's gone for a walk. Oh, people do that.
It's not just her lies giving Angelica away.
Something that appears in the background of the video. The toaster oven. Right there in plain sight, right behind her, as she's lying through her teeth. All in one frame.
Then body parts are found just 100 yards from Angelica's home.
We located a section of torso and a section of thigh. Those were the only remains that we located of Von A.
But police investigators do find a trail of evidence.
We located broken sections of soapstone statue, and we also located a discarded pusher. That pusher was subsequently forensically examined, and DNA was found that identified Von McGlynn.
Police not only had enough information to charge Angelica with murder, they had enough information to charge her with 23 counts of fraud, including multiple counts of identity theft.
In 2011, Angelica Guevara is found guilty of first-degree murder.
She was sentenced to life in prison with a non-parole period of 32 years. To my knowledge, that's the longest non-parole period a female has been sentenced with in Australia.
Angelica wanted a new start in a new country. But instead of building a life, she took one.
To this day, the head of my friend and her hands have not been retrieved. She's a definite sociopath, manipulator, cruel, and she deserves her life sentence.
I think there's a special place in hell for anyone that takes advantage of an elderly, vulnerable person. Satan can't wait to get his hands on Angelica Guevara.
Ready?
Next, you can't judge a book by its cover.
She was really just looking for the right victim.
All good?
A friendly face
She was a master manipulator.
can mask a monster.
She was cold as ice.
San Diego, California, September 2010.
She sleeps most of the time now.
Got a new girl.
It is 44-year-old caregiver Denise Goodwin's first day at her new job.
Have you cared for many people?
Oh, yes, lots of people.
She was a trustworthy, caring, giving,
I've got my diploma.
honest, church-going, reliable, dependable mother and trustee.
Certificate accreditation trustee diploma.
People saw her as a wholesome, bubbly country girl.
I love what I do.
Just the person 88-year-old Gerald Rayborn needs. His wife, Carolyn, has terminal lung cancer.
She was very sick. Gerald took very good care of his ailing wife.
Makes me feel great to think that I can help
But
people.
Gerald can no longer cope alone. When Denise enters their lives, his prayers are answered.
Denise was there to help Gerald with whatever he needed to do for his wife. Make sure the house was running and make sure bills were paid.
She was there to help him in his hour of need. That's what he saw.
Hello. Hello. I brought a helper with me today. This is my friend Tim. Tim, this is Gerald.
Denise goes beyond the call of duty, not just caring for Carolyn, but looking after Gerald, too.
Why do we need a helper?
Well, because I'm going to get you out of the house.
You go.
Denise went out of her way to befriend and be close to Gerald Rayborn.
We're going to take you out on the town. Here. Have fun.
She took Gerald places, like to the bank, to the store.
Gerald, you need to sign this, please.
When Gerald discovers Denise is a trustee, a person licensed to manage the affairs of the elderly, he makes her a signatory of his bank accounts.
Are we good?
Gerald was convinced that Denise Goodwin was going to be someone he could trust to help with his financial affairs.
Gerald asked me to see about getting Carolyn's name off the joint account.
Much to the surprise of his friends.
Why is she on the phone to your bank?
I told you, she's my angel.
He was very frugal with his money.
Don't worry.
And he trusts Denise to be too.
Gerald Rayborn thought that Denise Goodwin was just wonderful, that she was going to be able to do everything for him, and he didn't have to pay anything for it.
On September 29th, 2010, Gerald needs support more than ever. His wife passes away. The ordeal of sorting out Carolyn's estate is left to Denise.
The probable reason Mr. Rayburn would let a stranger get involved in his finances is because he was grief-stricken and he trusted her.
After losing his wife, Gerald asks Denise to stay on.
Can I help you? We need to speak to Gerald Radbourne.
He doesn't want to lose his angel, too. He assures adult protective authorities he's in good hands.
Thanks to my angel.
Okay.
He thought that she was his angel.
In fact, just 3 weeks after Gerald buries his wife, he's in Las Vegas. Denise breaks the news to his family.
Oh no, Gerald has met someone and they're off in Las Vegas.
Denise explained that he had met someone new.
Yeah. Oh, he's very happy.
He had run away with a woman named Carmen and wanted to be left alone.
Okay, yeah. If I hear from him, I'll definitely let him know. Okay, take care. Bye.
Jerry would eventually call them when he saw fit, when he was ready to do so.
4 months go by without any contact. Gerald misses family celebrations, including his daughter's birthday.
I guess the breaking point for her was when she didn't get the birthday card that she got every year of her life that her father never missed.
She files a missing persons report. And Denise is happy to help the police.
Denise said that Gerald and his new wife were in Mexico. That, of course, again, seems suspicious to the family members. They didn't think that he would take off and run to another country with a person they didn't know.
Investigators can't find any trace of Gerald in Mexico, Vegas, or any city.
The last time he was in contact with anyone was October 21st, 2010.
All signs of life for Gerald Rayborn ceased that afternoon.
And that's not all that's vanished.
Mr. Rayburn let his guard down.
San Diego, California. Before 88-year-old Gerald Rayborn disappears, he describes Denise Goodwin as an angel. An angel who he trusts to take care of his health and wealth.
Thank you.
She is following in the footsteps of her mother, a licensed trustee.
That's one of the ethical standards.
But there's a crucial difference. Denise takes a shortcut.
Denise wanted to be a conservator and trustee, but that takes training and education. She lasted 2 days. She wanted the title, but she didn't want to do the work.
Instead, she steals her mother's credentials.
Denise Goodwin took those diplomas and forged her name on them, and then was able to use those diplomas to represent that she had actually gone through the courses that her mother had attended. She had her own business cards made up that said Denise Goodwin, trustee.
So chicken?
Armed with forged documents, she sets out on a career of embezzlement.
How about some carrot? You like carrot? Yeah.
Starting with 95-year-old Seward Norris.
Oh, this looks delicious.
When Denise was put in charge of Mr. Norris's health care, she won the lottery.
Seward, I have some paperwork for you to sign for me.
Okay.
It's just a little document, and I'm gonna take care of the rest, okay?
Seward suffers from dementia. It's easy for Denise to convince him to sign documents.
Very well done.
Mr. Norris had a number of old life insurance policies, and what Denise Goodwin did is she created the surrender forms with Mr. Norris's signature on it, and that resulted in a $44,000 payout from the life insurance company.
Denise deposits the money in a joint bank account she's opened for Seward and herself. Then she goes on a spending spree.
She used it to buy an off-road vehicle, to pay off her pickup truck, pay her taxes, to pay her credit card bills. Within about 3 weeks, the $44,000 was gone.
She wanted to be rich, but she didn't want to earn the money.
Seward Norris passes away without ever realizing he's been robbed. To Denise, the elderly seem like easy pickings.
Denise saw how easy it was to scam and cheat an old and sick person. She developed a taste for it, like a wild animal going after a human.
Someone to see you.
Oh, hi, I'm Denise.
Her next victims are Gerald and Carolyn Rayborn. They have no idea who Gerald's angel will turn out to be.
The Rayburns were sitting ducks for someone like Denise.
On the very day his wife dies, Denise strikes, taking control of Gerald's finances when he's at his most vulnerable.
All of the money from Carolyn's accounts were transferred into the joint account that Denise Goodwin had created with her name on it, with Gerald Rayborn.
The fact that Denise transferred almost $45,000 from Mr. Rayburn's account into their new joint account on the day his wife died speaks to her callousness.
Her greed doesn't stop there. When Gerald disappears, she ups the ante.
Denise was able to get documents signed to take control of his house.
Denise was probably feeling pretty comfortable and pretty good that she'd gotten away with it.
There's just one thing Denise hasn't counted on: bank security.
You're done.
Easy.
Yeah, you're a professional.
Denise didn't understand the concept of following the money. Law enforcement, investigators, banks, they can follow the money. Wire transfers are traceable.
When the police turn their attention to Denise, she panics and races to sell off Gerald's assets.
Toward the end of January, the residence is sold, and Denise Goodwin is paid $350,000 in a check made out to her as trustee.
The police discovered Denise has stolen a total of $600,000 from the Rayborns. They arrest her as she tries to leave the country.
She was found boarding an airplane headed off to what she told police was a European vacation. She was about to get an extended vacation in a California prison.
To this day, Denise hasn't admitted murdering Gerald, but police are convinced she did.
She had complete control. She didn't need him around anymore.
He did die somehow at the hands of Denise Goodwin. She was the one who had actively taken control of his assets, so she had reason to kill him. She had motive.
Although Gerald's body is never found, Denise is charged with numerous fraud offenses and first-degree murder.
Denise was a careful murderer. She planned and she took time, and she got rid of the body. Perhaps she thought, no body, no case. She was wrong.
In 2014, Denise Goodwin is sentenced to life with no chance of parole. But her conviction brings little closure for Gerald's family.
It's bad enough to lose a loved one, but to lose a loved one and not know what happened, not have a body to bury, not have an ending to that story of how he lost his life. That was obviously very distressing.
Gerald thought he had found an angel, but her sweet exterior disguised Denise's heart of stone.
Denise was no different than any other psychopath in that she thought she could cover everything up and lie her way out of it.
These deadly women exploited those who needed their care and support. Sarah Moore used a defenseless invalid to fund her addiction. Angelica Guevara valued her wish list above an old woman's life. And Denise Goodwin ruthlessly stole from those who trusted her most. Their victims had no chance when these predators set their sights on the vulnerable.